Welcome to the Deficient Vegans podcast. This is episode 27. I'm the Muscle Deficient Vegan here with the Protein Deficient Vegan. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Hi, everybody. So today we're going to cover how to find protein options at both vegan and non-vegan restaurants, including a few chain restaurants, which, while they're not amazing, they're good and reliable in a pinch. But first up, new news.
New news.
The first one we have here is that PETA posted the CDC is going to end all of its monkey experiments for animal testing.
That is very exciting news.
Yeah, definitely. One of these days, it'd be nice if we were able to do like synthetic testing and not have to use real animals. So looking forward to that future if it's feasible.
I hope it will be.
Yeah. Also, a new bill has passed the Senate that'll give kids plant-based milk options in school.
I honestly can't believe this isn't already a thing. Aside from veganism, people have dairy intolerances. A lot of people have dairy intolerances.
Yeah, I guess you just had to drink juice or water or something.
Crazy.
Also, last up, an update on the Miyoko's situation. We've talked about this a couple other times in the last couple of episodes, but basically, Miyoko's old company went up for sale. She was trying to buy it back, and then some drama ensued.
Wow. If we get any more drama, we're going to have to rename this from New News to Tea Time because, the tea is hot.
Yeah.
But basically, Miyoko shared some private text, which I'm going to read for you because why wouldn't I?
Right. So the company that ended up winning the bid for Miyoko's old company was Melt Butter.
Which I've never heard of before.
I hadn't either. It sounds like they had a little bit of back and forth during the bidding process, and maybe they're not on great terms.
Yeah. So from what we can tell from the text exchange is that the CEO from Melt, I guess, texted or DM'd Miyoko, basically asking if she wanted to be a contractor because he was going to bid on Miyoko's. And basically, would you be, I guess, a figurehead in promoting this company, which is, by the way, her own company with her own name and all of her own recipes. And so it seems like what I'm inferring from these texts is that she ended up learning that her company was up for sale from that exchange, ended up getting a group of people together to put their own bid up, and then he sent her an article talking about how she was putting up a bid for the company as well, and then said, "You're a cagey one, but I'm unsure why I wasn't given a heads up. Please clarify." And then she said, "I'm not cagey. I got this idea at 10 p.m. last night, and then I made some late night calls. It's my brand, and I need to own it or be an integral part of it. Thank you for your offer, but I'm not a 1099 contractor. I am the force behind the brand." And then this is the really asshole-ish thing he said. "You're right. You aren't a 1099. You're a failed business partner and appear not to have learned a thing. They were right. You don't belong with our team." And so, I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like if that's the kind of guy that's going to own Miyoko's, I'm not using their shit anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty spicy exchange there.
Just because, and the whole premise of him being mad at her for wanting to try to buy her own company back is wild. Oh, also, all their comments are turned off on all their posts on socials because I think it's gotten pretty spicy.
Yeah, this is probably not the way you want to announce an acquisition.
I know. I'll be interested to see if it goes up for sale again. Also, not really new news, but we just came back from seeing Wicked 2. Changed for good or for good.
Wicked for good.
Dude, that was the most vegan shit I've ever seen. That is the most vegan propaganda movie I've ever seen, and I loved every fucking second of it. Amazing.
Yeah, I never realized, I don't know if the play is like this or not, but it's extremely animal activist undertones.
Oh, it's great. I really kind of feel like...
Not even really undertones, actually.
No, just overtones? I don't know. I mean, if Babe converted people to veganism and, Charlotte's Web did, I can't even imagine what this movie's going to do. I'm pretty excited to see what happens.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
It was a good movie. Aside from all of the animal rights stuff, it was a good movie just in general. So go check it out.
For sure. All right, and that's the news. So now we'll get into the main topic of the podcast here. So if you're already a vegan, you might know that eating out as a vegan can be really hard. And if you're trying to become a vegan or just, eat less meat in your diet and things like that, you might have run into this already. Oh, wow, I have suddenly a lot less options out in the world.
Yeah, for me, going vegan, this was, I think the first thing I really noticed was that and I was vegetarian before this. So while the options weren't great, I always had some options at places, but then you go vegan and your options are so limited. And then, you're also trying to learn how to cook for the first time, vegan food, and it can just all be really overwhelming and feel like, I think, a little demoralizing.
Yeah, and while it's great and a good idea to learn how to cook and make your own stuff for sure, sometimes you just want to go to a restaurant, or you need to if you're traveling, things like that.
Yeah, sometimes you don't want to make your own pasta sauce, sometimes you just want to be able to order food after a long day of work.
Yeah, so we're going to go over some tips to hopefully make it a little easier and also help you pick out options that actually have protein. First things first, some sneaky things to watch out for that you might assume are vegan, but may not be at these restaurants. First up here is fried food. You may have seen recently, beef tallow has had quite the comeback and marketing campaign.
When I thought we were safe, how has this come back again? It's so gross. But also, fries used to be a safe thing. This is annoying.
Yeah, so now you're probably going to want to check with your restaurants or keep an eye on which chains are switching over to beef tallow, because if it's cooked in beef tallow, it's not vegan anymore.
Apparently, people are also wiping it on their face, which is disgusting, but...
I hadn't heard that.
You didn't know?
What are the purported benefits of doing that?
Oh, I don't know. I think it helps you unage 20 years or some stupid shit.
Isn't that what lotion does?
Dude, I don't know. Influencers will push any fucking thing.
After fried foods, next up, bread and buns. A decent amount of the bread and buns you'll find at restaurants actually contain traces of milk.
Yeah, this kind of sucks. And sometimes you won't really even know. Like, some of these places, they don't have their allergen list up, so... I don't know. I always check, and if I don't know, I don't eat it. Also, if you've been vegan for a while, you can develop a pretty bad intolerance for dairy pretty quickly.
There's a bioidentical whey protein that is made from microalgae or something. It's vegan, but it is bioidentical to whey, which is a milk protein.
Yeah.
So, even that, which is not actually milk, I tried.
And it is vegan.
It is vegan.
Yeah.
I tried once and had a really bad time.
So then he tried it a second time to be sure that's what it was.
Yeah, that did happen.
And that is what it was.
It made me incredibly sick both times. And again, that's not even actually milk. So, your gut changes a little bit. And as you go vegan, specifically with dairy, lose some of the enzymes to help break that down.
So it's aside from not wanting to eat it because of ethical reasons, I wouldn't chance it because your stomach might not be able to handle what it used to handle. So check for breads and buns.
Yeah. Also, kind of the bread arena, pizza dough.
This is a weird one. Specifically Domino's, a lot of their crusts have dairy or eggs.
Which is weird because a lot of pizza doughs are naturally vegan.
I know. I don't know why you're putting dairy and eggs in our pizza dough. Can we just have the dough? I don't know. I thought the Domino's thing was funny because that's the company that PETA bought into, right?
Maybe they'll get the dough changed. And maybe for the love of God, we'll get a pizza chain in America with vegan cheese.
Oh, I see a lot of people posting, I think mostly from the UK, that Papa John's has vegan cheese option, and I think maybe even Pizza Hut has vegan cheese option in Europe, but none of them have a vegan cheese option here, which is just annoying. I would just like one of them to offer a vegan cheese so you could just order a vegan pizza from a chain.
Yeah, and I think the American chains that have it in Europe advertise it pretty heavily over there. So I don't know if they just get... I'm guessing they try to do it here and they get backlash, but that whole thing is obviously insane. So
yeah.
And also, not just the pizza dough, but sometimes the pizza sauce, sometimes they'll have cheese in there.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll even have meat in there. So, be careful. Check, ask. A good resource, though, is, I think Veggly, Veggly. We check that a lot. They have, up-to-date ordering options for a lot of the chain restaurants.
I think there's another one called Vegol.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I don't know. We just look up, vegan options, Pizza Hut, and it'll tell us everything, and it'll give you, an updated date on when it was last updated, and it'll tell you, the sauces that you can order and the things on the menu. It actually does that. It's pretty comprehensive, all the restaurants it covers. Also, a good
trick just in general is to look at the allergen list for a restaurant online. Mm-hmm. Don't try to look at the nutrition facts and the ingredients and stuff. It gets pretty hard to read. But if you go to the allergen list, that will at least tell you if there's milk or egg. It won't really tell you if there's meat in it because that's not something that goes on the allergy list, but it will tell you for meat and eggs if you're concerned about that.
So that's helpful.
Yeah. Also, salad dressings, specifically, even the non-creamy salad dressings can still have egg or dairy.
Yeah, like Olive Garden, for instance. So that's an Italian dressing. That's not vegan.
I don't think
I
there's
think it has
much at
Parmesan.
I
So
don't think there's much at Olive Garden that's vegan.
yeah, I think you can get a salad without cheese and without dressing.
A bowl of lettuce.
A bowl of lettuce. And, I think you can get noodles with, like, basically just tomato sauce. I don't know. Somebody in our area put Olive Garden on Happy Cow. And every time I see it, it pisses me off.
They must really just like spaghetti.
You can't even eat their fucking breadsticks.
Wow, that sucks.
No.
Also, breaded foods. A lot of the time there's like an egg wash on the breaded foods to put the breading on. So.
Yeah, like onion rings or anything fried. So you got to watch out for the beef tallow, and then you have to watch out for like the potential milk or egg wash they're dipped in before they bread them.
Yeah, and I really like onion rings, so I'm always on the lookout for like an onion ring that's accidentally vegan.
Yeah, I think Burger Kings are.
Yeah. Also, some refried beans are not vegan.
Yeah, I think they have lard. So you got to look for the ones that are vegan and vegetarian.
Yeah, even beans aren't safe.
I know.
And then the last one, it's talked about a lot in the vegan community, is honey. This is not necessarily something, although it does sneak into a lot of foods. But the real issue with honey is that a lot of people don't even realize that it's not really vegan.
Yeah, I've seen restaurants have a menu and they'll have the vegan symbol next to stuff that has honey. And you're like, that's not vegan. Like, why are you labeling it vegan? And they just genuinely, they don't even know honey isn't vegan. A lot of omnivores have no idea that we don't eat honey. So It's just like something to watch out for because they might code it as vegan and then it has honey in it.
And there are a couple brands of vegan honey, but there's a pretty good chance if you're seeing it on a restaurant menu, it's just honey and they don't know that's not vegan.
Yeah. And the likelihood of them buying the vegan honey and using it is pretty low unless it's a vegan restaurant.
And if they cared enough to buy the vegan honey, they'd probably put vegan honey on the menu.
I agree.
So what are we left with after all those?
I think very little.
Yeah, so those are some of the things on the menu that might kind of trip you up or you might just assume are vegan when maybe they're not. So now let's talk about once you've dodged all of those bullets, if you're still trying to get in some protein, sometimes you're going to be out of luck, and these are the reasons why.
I think the first one is that vegan cheese is typically coconut oil based. So normally, especially when I was vegetarian, I'd be getting some protein from like dairy cheese because it has protein, but you will not be getting protein from vegan cheese. And, the same with like a lot of the vegan milk options, unless they're soy based. Most of those just don't really have protein. They're just kind of oil.
Yeah. A lot of vegan cheese, just oil.
Yeah. Except for Kitchen 17's deep dish, which was soy based, but they're no longer around. So.
Oh, yeah. RIP Kitchen 17.
Ugh.
Yeah, soy-based cheese is a MVP.
I agree.
Next up, cauliflower wings, cauliflower steaks, rice dishes with veggies, pizza without cheese, side salad and fries. Not ideal.
Yeah.
Almost no protein, even though they're kind of like entree options. And it sucks because they are a lot of the options that we have available.
Yeah, I know. And it's interesting because I think a lot of the restaurants, especially like the non-chain restaurants, think they're really like putting out something. Like, they think it's a good vegan option, but for some reason, like, and I don't know what it is, but omnivores, for some reason, don't think vegans need protein at all. Like, they don't even think about it. It's just one of those weird things.
Yeah, I feel like if you're going to have wings, which are traditionally a source of protein, why are we doing cauliflower and not like tofu, seitan, something that has protein in it? Or
like if you're going to do a salad or a rice bowl or something, like, why not throw some tofu in there?
Yeah, I mean, since I've been vegan, I think I've talked about this before, but I really feel like tofu should just be there with all the other protein options on every menu. So.
Yeah, it's a pretty frustrating thing. I know at work, I was going to potentially be locked in for 2 weeks, and I was so stressed about this because I was like, what option am I going to have because I'm a vegan and like I'm not seeing a menu or you weren't going to have your own fridge. So I was like really stressed about this, and I like asked, I'm like, what are the vegan options? Because when you're locked in, you can't go places, you can't get delivery, right? And they were like, well, for the vegan option, we're going to have mixed greens and you can bring your own dressing. And I'm like, that is not a vegan option for 2 weeks. Like, what are you talking about? I ended up having to email the plant manager and be like, hey, I don't know if you knew this, but vegans actually still require protein to live.
And vegans exist.
And vegans exist in your plant. And he was actually pretty cool about it and was like, if we get locked in, I'll make it work. But like, I mean, it's just like a wild thing to constantly have to advocate for yourself that like vegans exist and vegans also require protein. We can't just live off. The rabbit food thing is so funny because the omnivores forced that title on us that we're like only eating rabbit food
And then that's all they offer you.
And that's all they offer you. And I'm like, I don't want to eat rabbit food. That's your perception of what we're doing. Anyway, that's my rant.
Yeah. So instead of like the cauliflower wings, cauliflower steaks, try to look for places that have tofu, seitan if you're really lucky.
Mm-hmm.
They make great wings out of seitan anywhere. So beans, chickpeas, which is used in like hummus and falafel, and that's a pretty good option.
Yeah.
Not ideal, but better than some of the other options we have. Another good one, obvious one to look out for is like meat alternatives like Beyond and Impossible.
Yeah.
They're pretty decent. Not something I'd want to eat every day, but if I'm on the road and I see something with an Impossible burger, I'm probably gravitating towards that because I know what it is. It's consistent, So, yeah. TVP also, there are some places that have TVP options, and if I see TVP, I'm definitely going for that. That's my number one priority, but that's pretty rare. And if none of those things exist where you're going, you might have to do with vegetables like broccoli, spinach, mushrooms are all high in protein for what they are. And then quinoa could be a pretty good option if you have it.
At least it's like a heartier option.
Yeah. So those are some of the things that might trip you up or might make you disappointed as you look through a menu. So now we can talk about some of the chain restaurants first that aren't totally horrible and have pretty reliable options.
Yeah. And I think for us, if there's a vegan restaurant or a smaller establishment that has like legitimate vegan options, like we're usually going to choose that. But this is more of like if you're somewhere that just doesn't have other places other than chains with vegan options, then these are some good options. Like if you're traveling or if you're in a smaller town.
Yeah, small towns like off the exit road near a rest stop, things like that. These are probably the things you're going to go toward.
Yeah.
The first one is Taco Bell. This one's always been really vegetarian friendly, but they also have some vegan options. Usually you just get it with beans, make it fresco style, which takes off the cheese and sour cream, adds the pico de gallo, and you've got a pretty good, decent option. Basically whole food, vegan, beans.
It's actually like a pretty healthy option, especially when you're eating vegan. I mean, it's literally beans, vegetables. I think they even have bowls, right? Like protein bowls that you can get without
with beans,
without the tortilla and with extra beans. And you can always add like roasted potatoes if you want.
Yeah, the potatoes are a big hack for Taco Bell. Love adding potatoes to pretty much everything.
Doesn't necessarily add protein, but it does add like a little bit more.
Yeah,
you're getting more food.
Right.
But yeah, Taco Bell's always been a good one for me. And I think it still holds true for now that I'm vegan.
Yeah. One of the better options, I think, is not some with the drive-through, but it's more like fast casual, is Chipotle.
Yeah.
They have their sofritas, which is like a marinated, slightly spicy tofu.
Yeah. It's a little spicy for me, but I'm kind of a little bitch on spicy stuff.
Yeah. But they have, beans, and you can make a bowl and get some beans and a big pile of tofu and just a bunch of veggies.
Or like a big burrito or, I mean, definitely Chipotle is a really good option. And I think it's definitely a better option than its competition in that same space.
Yeah.
I think Moe's doesn't really have anything.
But Qdoba used to have some sort of vegan meat. I think they got rid of it.
They did. Yeah, we used to get that and they stopped using it. But Chipotle's the one.
That's right. Also, noodle bowl places like Noodles & Co. is like the one that's popular around here, but there's a bunch of noodle bowl places in the country. Yeah,
we really like Noodles & Co. You can get a bowl and you can get like extra tofu and we get a bunch of broccoli in it too. It's really good. It's a good option.
Good thing about the noodle bowl places is they often have tofu as an option.
Yes.
So, also poke bowl, kind of similar to a noodle bowl, but usually with rice instead. A lot of those as well have tofu. Some of them even have tofu skin, which is really high protein.
Yeah, and like the thing I like most about those is you can just always add extra.
Mm-hmm.
It's like kind of like a build your own. So if you want more tofu, add more tofu.
Yeah. Next up, Burger King, surprisingly, because they still have their Impossible Whopper.
Yeah.
And also they have vegan fries and onion rings if you
That's true.
don't want to go the protein
route.
route.
They don't have beef tallow yet. So please, Burger King, don't add beef tallow. That just doesn't make sense if you have an Impossible Burger, right? And also, don't get rid of the Impossible Burger.
Get it without the mayonnaise because they do come with mayonnaise.
That's true, yeah. Sometimes we'll order it and then we'll put vegan cheese on it at home. I don't like plain burgers. I want a vegan cheeseburger.
I know. Next up, Asian places. Obviously, tofu is really popular in Asia.
Yeah.
Noodles really popular in Asia.
Thank God for Asian restaurants, dude.
Yeah. Chinese, Thai, Japanese places almost always have some kind of tofu option.
And they're good.
Yeah, good food.
It's good food. It's reliable food. They almost always have a tofu option. You're not going to be disappointed. you should definitely check and make sure there's not other stuff in there that, like, you know, especially like sauces. You want to definitely check on the sauces, or like if you're getting something with noodles, like it might have eggs or something.
Egg's really popular. Like we have a Thai place near us where it's just, they have a pad Thai, and to make it vegan, they just don't use egg. So
yeah,
something like that.
So it's like definitely worth checking, but most places you can figure out some kind of vegan option that still has like a tofu.
Another good one that we go to a lot is like a smoothie place.
Yeah.
Like Jamba Juice or Smoothie King, a couple of the other ones. It's not really for the drinkable smoothies, although those are good too, but they usually have smoothie bowls.
Yeah.
Which is like, you know, a smoothie in a bowl with a bunch of fruit and coconut and granola and things like that.
Like maybe nut butters or seeds you can add. But a lot of the smoothie places, you can also add in a plant protein powder.
Yeah, like an Orgain protein or something.
Yeah, to the smoothie. So you can get like a higher protein smoothie. So like that's a good option too, especially for like a breakfast.
Yeah, definitely. Also, Starbucks now has a couple of vegan options. They have a falafel wrap and a vegan snack box thing.
Yeah, I think the vegan snack box has like veggie chicken nuggets and a couple other things. And I actually have a friend that's not vegan, and she gets that. She's actually the one that told me about that because she likes Starbucks. I don't usually go to Starbucks, but
unless it's a hot chocolate time of year.
Yeah, I do like hot chalky.
Also, Mediterranean food. They have hummus and falafel, like I mentioned before, a lot of chickpea-based stuff, a lot of good vegan options.
Yeah, it's an underrated option for sure.
And then last up is Indian food. A lot of Indian restaurants do have tofu options. You do have to be careful because vegan is not like super popular in India. It's mostly vegetarian. So milk is in a lot of things by default. So you really have to check the menu, maybe ask the server or the person on the phone, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know how many dishes can be veganized, but there are some that can be.
Yeah.
And they usually do have tofu. So
right.
I think they almost always have tofu. I think the key takeaway here is that American and Italian restaurants, not really vegan friendly. But your friends are going to be like, your Chinese restaurants, your Asian restaurants, Indian restaurants, Mediterranean, Mexican restaurants.
Yeah.
That's where the vegan stuff is, guys.
The international crowd has been using tofu for much longer than the United States has been a country. So.
America's really behind on tofu, and I'm going to need America to catch the fuck up.
One day. Those are some of the chain restaurants, but if you're living somewhere with some like actual vegan restaurants and you're trying to pick the options that have the best macros or the best protein options, we've got some tips for you for that as well.
Yeah, I think the number one tip is check Happy Cow and look through all their menus. Yeah. That's what we do. We just like open up Happy Cow, we look through like 20 restaurants and read all their menus and stuff.
Yeah, and even no matter where you are, if you even maybe think you don't have vegan restaurant options, download Happy Cow, check it out. You might be surprised. There's like one or two sprinkled into a lot of towns.
We found entire vegan food trucks in our small town that we didn't even know existed. It just like popped up on Happy Cow one day. Like I've opened that app like hundreds of times, and then it was just like one random Wednesday afternoon, I was like, I wonder if there's anything new added to Happy Cow. And there it was, a vegan food truck, a fully vegan food truck. It was crazy.
Do you know if Happy Cow is global?
I think it is.
Yeah, I think I remember looking in.
Yeah, I think I've looked for like Spain for fun.
Yeah. So
like,
even if you're not,
could I eat in Spain?
Even if you're not in the U.S., maybe use Happy Cow to try to find some places near you. I don't know exactly what the user rate is like outside the country, but maybe it's good.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I also like that it has user reviews, like real people, real vegans and vegetarians and stuff are reviewing.
With pictures.
Yeah. The only thing that I don't like is sometimes you'll find a restaurant that has maybe been closed for a while and it hasn't been updated because most of the data is coming from people going there. So it would take someone to be like, oh, this is now closed to get it updated on Happy Cow. So some of the stuff's not like super accurate. Some of the hours aren't accurate, but the reviews are nice. They usually have menu pictures.
Yeah, if the business hasn't been claimed on Happy Cow yet by the owners, it might be a little out of date, but generally pretty reliable. One weird nuance with reviews on Happy Cow is you can't leave 5 stars if it's not a fully vegan place. So don't be turned off if you see a 4-star place that looks like it might have some good vegan options.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, try to pick places or menu items that focus on tofu, TVP, seitan, beans, and lentils. Those are going to be your best options for protein specifically. Stay away from fried items in general. It won't necessarily take away from the amount of protein in the dish, but it'll increase the calories by a lot, which will lower the protein percentage of the dish. Yeah. Obviously, like you can take tofu and then, wrap it up and fry it and dip it in chocolate, and you still get your 30 grams of protein, but it's going to be 1,000 calories. So.
Wait. Fried tofu in chocolate? I don't know. Is this a recipe?
Dude, deep fried cookies and stuff, surely.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like kind of into this idea. I don't know. Should we make this?
Oh, now you have to name it after me because this is the first recipe I've ever come up with on my own.
Especially if it's not good, I'll definitely name it after you.
It won't be good, I promise.
I don't know. I see the vision.
And then, unless you just really like the taste of it, probably never choose the cauliflower option if a tofu, TVP, or seitan option exists.
Yeah. Or mushrooms, Like,
Yeah.
mushrooms also are a little bit better than cauliflower.
Cauliflower is great and all, but first of all, if you're paying for a dish that's cauliflower, you're probably massively overpaying. And two, there's just, there's not much to it for protein.
But hey, if you don't care about protein, eat all the cauliflower you want. It makes you happy.
Steamed cauliflower is part of mixed vegetables, fine. But don't give me cauliflower wings, please. All right, so those are pretty much all the tips. Now we can talk about our myth of the week. The myth of the week this week is vegans need more protein than non-vegans.
I actually had someone comment on one of my Reddit posts saying that you literally can't build muscle on a vegan diet. Like, vegan protein can't be used for muscle, which was a pretty weird comment, but I think it's kind of along these same lines of, like, this is just how people think about vegan protein.
Somebody should tell all the vegan bodybuilders and professional athletes that they can't build muscle.
That's what I said.
Yeah, so this is one of those weird ones where it's like, this exists because there's a grain of truth to it. Technically, vegan proteins have slightly less amino acids across the board than non-vegan proteins. So in theory, you might need a little more to have the same results, but they've done, several studies now comparing like vegans protein sources and non-vegan protein sources. And in like real outcomes, as far as like how much muscle did you gain, they're not really seeing any differences when they just have like the same amount of total protein each day.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. But if you wanted like an insurance policy and you just wanted to really make sure you're eking out every 1%, then maybe you can bump your protein up by like 10% over what your non-vegan protein target might have been, just to make sure you get a little extra of the amino acids that come with it.
Yeah. And I think that's like specifically if you're trying to build muscle, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is like you're like super maximizing, trying to optimize every ounce out of it, basically.
Yeah. So like for just a normal person.
For a normal person, I would just use the same amount of protein as you would if you were not a vegan.
Yeah. That makes sense.
All right. Next up, you have a food update. You have a new long-form YouTube video this week, but it is not technically about a recipe. What do you have this week?
Wow. If you would really like to watch a 7-minute video where I painstakingly pour over how to use a spreadsheet, I have the video for you.
That sounds very exciting.
For me, I find it exciting as well, but I like spreadsheets. But if you've been thinking about using my vegan protein database that we put together, this video just goes into how to use it, what use it could be for you.
Yeah, so this is that vegan protein database we mentioned on the last episode, I believe, that you put together that has like 200 different options for vegan protein and sorts them by protein percentage, protein per dollar per 100 calories, a couple of different things like that, and shows you where to get them, and you can mix and match the filters and things like that. So you've got a video where you kind of walk through it, talk about like how you made some of the decisions and how to actually use the filters and stuff like that.
Yeah, I thought it'd be useful in case maybe you're not like very computer savvy, or maybe you just want to know like all the ways it can be used or why it would be useful.
Yeah, you do go a little bit into like why I might care about sorting by this option and things like that. I think will help. Cool. Well, everybody should go check out that video, and it's very fun.
Yeah, it's very, very fun. Spreadsheets are very, very fun.
I think you have a shirt that says that, right?
I think I do. I should get a tattoo, though.
All right, so if you guys have any questions about the protein database when you go to take a look at it, actually, when you go to open that video, I'd recommend opening the spreadsheet on your computer or phone and following along. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Protein Deficient Vegan on her social medias. You can find those links in the show notes, or you can even comment on that post itself that has the protein database in there. I
rarely get YouTube comments, so that'd be really fun.
Yeah. Also, be sure to subscribe to the podcast here. If you could leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, that'd be really helpful. We've had a couple people there now. We really appreciate that. And any other questions or food recipe requests or feedback or anything like that, we're happy to talk to people. Go ahead and send us an email. You can use the link in the show notes that says send us a text, and we can answer that on the podcast here. Feel free to reach out. I think that's it for this week. Do you want to say bye?
Bye.
Bye, everybody.